morning, world. Thank you for joining us once again. This is my brothers and I podcast, Raise the Bar. I'm one third of the segment, Bryce Spencer. Let my brothers do their introductory. Pass it on to Ricky Spencer.
Good morning, world. I'm Ricky Spencer, another third of the Raise the Bar podcast. Here to share some enlightening information with you all and encourage and inspire you all to get engaged with us. And I have an opportunity to pass it on to my other brother to be able to share himself.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Good morning. It's about, 7 o'clock in the morning. Today is the 21st of February, 2022. And I'm excited to come to you guys again with my brothers to talk a little bit about what commitment looks like to us and share a couple, highlights on some of our Black historians and even some present day folks who are making waves in our community. And should be exciting. Try and keep it lively. It's a Monday. The fellas got it off. I got some work still to do. But it's President's Day. So I hope you all are enjoying this holiday. And feel free to share some feedback. Let us know what you think about what we're going to touch on today. And always excited to come together and try and raise the bar. So I'll throw it back over to you, Bryce. You can get us kicked off, man.
For sure. Yeah. So this morning's topic, we're speaking upon. The topic is commitment. So we're going to kind of dissect and dive into that word, what it means to us, and just kind of how that word defines us, what we feel, like how we connect to that word and define it. So I'll start off with saying I feel like commitment is a very important word. Is how we connect to our goals, our what we're looking to achieve in life, obtain in life. And basically, for me personally, importance and ability are the key components to commitment, because the goal at hand, I feel it must be important for one to you. It must stand out for you. You have to have some type of connection to it. And there also must be some value to to what you are committed to in order to achieve this goal, basically, as well. I feel one must display and have the ability to obtain whatever the goal is at hand. With that being said, I feel like whatever you're committed to, say, for instance, I use an example. If I always go to the gym, if you're committed to a certain workout goal or like whatever you're trying to achieve within fitness and health, you, for one, have to have that foresight of what is capable of being achieved, and you have to. The individual must must have the ability to obtain this goal. You have to be realistic with yourself. You have to see what is obtainable, what is something that you can reach with that goal. And I think this demonstrates the level of commitment that you have in mind. So once you put those in the proper perspective and order, I feel like that's kind of how you just get things in place. So just, like I said, having that realistic outlook and seeing what you can do, what you can't do. And if there's something you can't do, you have to definitely think outside the box and go back to the drawing board and put A, B, and C together to obtain this goal in mind, and just stay committed. Don't let up. Don't let go, and figure out your direction, your approach on how to get to this destiny, to this goal. I'll let you guys chime in on what your thoughts are. Pass it to you, Rick.
And for me, when I look at commitment, I know sometimes mentally it can feel like this thick fabric that we wear. And just also remembering that those moments of feeling uncomfortable, this is when your commitment really comes in. Like, what is your commitment to, and what is the foundation of that commitment? And then also being mindful of what's morally right. Because we have our impression of what we're committed to, what that process looks like, but how can we achieve making that goal? And what is the process actually going to be for us in order to be successful? So I think a lot of times it's just being observant of the area that we're in. What is it that we're looking at and paying attention to? Because as we're paying attention to different things, we have to be able to be mindful. I understand, is this the right direction that we want to go in? And what we're watching, is this the right process to do it? And just creating that foundation to kind of go back to when as we're going and navigating that process, feeling what's right, does this feel right? And then not allowing our mind to play tricks on us. Because as we're going throughout that, we're learning at the same time. There's going to be those challenges because it's a new process. So let's go ahead, dive into it, and make it and try to inspire others to be a part of this process too, because we could do something by ourselves and we can get there. But if we can get a team of us together, then when one person is having that obstacle, we can kind of tag team in, like, why are you feeling this way? Your spirits are down or what have you. Let's try to tag team and champion it together so that way we get them over that hurdle. It's kind of like a relay race. Like you have one leg, you have the first leg, the second leg, the third leg, and it's all broken down to those stages so you can get yourself this far. And then you pass the baton on to the next individual to help them carry the rest of the race for you. And just being an understanding of that in those moments and just building together. I think that's really the commitment process and just trying to encourage others to do great things. And I'll let you share something, Royce. What do you have in your mind?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, on commitments that were made in the past and in the present that have really laid the groundwork for the movements that are taking place in the future and over time that allowed us to make strides and bring our community up. A great example everybody knows the kind of the Rosa Parks story and the whole boycott that took place with the busing system. I think there was a commitment that took place that was challenging. Really, it usually starts with something that enough is enough. In this case, people of color, Black people specifically, were required to sit in the back of the bus or stand up and let a white person, have their seat. And Rosa Parks, who was a woman who worked hard and, ended up having to, or being told, not even being asked, being told that she needed to stand and let someone take her seat. She just decided that enough is enough. I mean, I am a human, the same as these other individuals who you're asking me to stand up for, these white folks, no matter what the color of their skin is. We are all human beings. And, they ended up arresting her for this act, for this stance that she took, this commitment that she made to, deeming herself equal to everyone. And once that took place, Martin Luther King, and a bunch of other civil rights activists took hold in that commitment with her and decided that, we got to draw a line somewhere. This is something that's been going on for far too long. We say we're all equal rights. We say, we're integrating these systems. Everyone's an American first. And, whatever nationality or whatever race that you are becomes a secondary, part of who you are. But at the end of the day, we are all American citizens. But it doesn't make sense for a woman to have to stand up for any other person. At the end of the day, women, are oftentimes the more maternal, more, these are the women in our community. You think of them as, the person that you go to for kindness and warmth. And, the last thing you want to do is start making them stand up for you. As a man, you should be stronger. You should be the one to be able to stand up. So just physically speaking, but yeah, just, fast forward to today, they decided to change that law after the Black community boycotted for a amount of time and hit them where it hurts financially. They created a system where, hey, if you need to get to work, we'll come pick you up. Just be a part of this movement and make a stance. And I think that's the sort of commitments that we can learn from today. Like there are a lot of areas that we are coming up short on or just being shorted on. Access to resources, employment opportunities. There's a lot of companies out there that are happy to take our dollar when we're buying, but when it comes to representation or when it comes to doing business with us, they're hesitant for whatever reason. some point in time, we got to take a stance and say, enough is enough. Let's commit to working with those who are open to working with us, bringing, not just taking our dollars, but infusing our communities with the money that we need, economically speaking, infusing our communities with the opportunities that we need. That's the sort of commitments that I think of, I really think that our generation, or just our time, has a lot of distractions, and it kind of separates us. But like, for example, what we're doing, coming together at least once a week, and we also have our meetings that we're not recording. We sit down, we talk, and we're committed to moving forward, moving our community forward, raising the bar. This is what this is all about. And I just wanted to highlight that. Of course, it's Black History Month. I'm gonna remind y'all every time we get on this, every week. But this is our history as a nation, and it's important that we don't forget about these things as we look for ways to move things forward.
Yeah, so just kind of to piggyback on what you said, like how we move things forward and keep things consistent. It's another area I wanted to touch upon. Is basically how we uphold and sustain commitment, and what that looks like and what that means. So to me, I feel like basically upholding our commitment. This is the belief that ties in some of even our past topics. I feel like the word commitment has so many different branches of topics and meanings, and it's things that we've already touched upon, which kind of spells and speaks to what we're doing. Like you said, what we're doing as we continue to have these weekly meetings, these conversations, topics that we record and off the record that we talk about and have, which is basically, holding each other accountable, having the discipline and trusting in ourselves. And, I just think all of that ties into the word commitment. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I think about it and think about the past topics, I think like that is how we explain and define our commitment to raising the bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's what other commitment can you have more than having these conversations and these challenging, these mentally challenging conversations, these conversations that just really just challenge our way of thinking, our approach, our outlook. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think every episode, every topic is another way or form of our commitment to a bigger purpose, to the purpose, all the above. So
I feel like we're
about,
I was just gonna say, I feel like
man.
Yep, 100%. I think like this consistency provokes momentum. Like we are forcing ourselves to move our dialogue to a higher level. Like this is just this is like igniting the fire that is in us, but creating an organization around it to give it a direction. If that makes sense.
Facts. Most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, y'all know that I'm a big Raiders fan. I got to throw this in there. Their famous slogan is commitment to excellence. And when you really unpack that, like think about what that means. It's like from top down, from the owners of the organization, the Davis family, to the coaching staff, to the players, to the equipment managers, everyone has to come in to work every day, because at the end of the day, it's everyone's job. You got to come in with your mind locked in on what can I do to move this team forward? Just the little parts. Even if you're a quarterback, it's a much bigger role that you're playing for like David Carr at this point. It's just coming in with real defined intention. What do I want? What do I want to do today to move us forward and closer to our next Super Bowl? And Raider Nation is, of course, the biggest fan base in all of NFL. And I think a lot of the fans buy into that slogan. They can feel that within themselves. Like, okay, I'm a fan of the Raiders, but I myself have a commitment to excellence, and I want to strive to be as great as I can as well. So that's something that I can be behind. I can be behind something like, a slogan like that. So I just, I got to throw that in there for all my Raiders fans out there. I know we probably got a lot of 49ers fans out there too. And y'all been making a commitment to excellence these past few years. Y'all been pushing through the playoffs. Not quite pulling it off, but hey,
sure.
still doing well. Still doing well.
Just gonna continue to push and raise that bar, man. That's what it's all about.
That's it, right? That's all you can ask for. Like you said too. I mean, we work out all the time. Like, it's also important to understand you can't overcommit. You gotta find a balance so that you're not pushing yourself beyond, what's realistic. I think, I know for a fact I've been listening to this audio book called Deep Work, and the author is just a big advocate for focus on what is important and pushing everything else to the side, because in human nature over the years, just recently within the past past 30, 40 years, have we been connected to these devices and to media that is just streamed directly to us. But before then, for hundreds of thousands of years, we've had a finite amount of activities that we can engage in at once. So we basically have not really evolved to have a good stress indicator, so that tells us, hey, you're pushing it too far. Really, the only indicator we have is stress and burnout, the feel of like, I'm stretched out thin right now. I'm doing way too much. And I don't think that's the most efficient way of accomplishing things, because if you're literally having to push it all the way until like you got nothing left in your battery and you just are like physically clearly just dead, like not literally dead, but you could tell someone's got a dead battery when they're just sitting there and like you can see the look on their face. If that is the level that you have to push it to in order to know that, okay, I've done too much, then you're selling yourself short. Instead, if you just limit it, and no one wants to say, I'm limiting myself, but if you give yourself 3 focus areas for a day of like, these are the 3 key goals that I can accomplish today in order to move myself or my organization forward, then I think you're putting yourself in a position to be more efficient. Otherwise, you're just waiting until you're hitting the wall. Just wanted to throw that in there. Like, about commitment, everybody wants to commit, but it's important to also commit to realistic accomplishments and not burn yourself out. Nobody wants to be burning the candle all the way down.
So what you just said, if I'm an individual and I'm trying to be committed to a process, we all have this dynamic where we want to kind of be good all across the board. Would you recommend starting with being committed to being strong in your better areas, or would you try to be focused in your weaker areas?
That is a good question. I think both. I would say, of course, don't just like settle on, okay, I'm good on those areas, let me go work on these weak areas, because then it's like those are God-given talents. That's where that's your bread and butter. It's probably what you should make a living doing. But also, there more than likely is an area that you can get stronger in, that it's going to help you continue to move forward as a well-rounded individual. So I would say, like I mentioned before, there's 3 things that you can focus on. I'd focus on the 2 areas that you have strengths in, continue to develop those tools, keep them sharp, but then also bring in that extra area that you can draw a direct line to your goals and why that strength is important to have. It's a good question. I like that. What do you think, Bryce?
Yeah, I was going to chime in. I also feel like that's a good approach and method, because you want to definitely be working on something that you're confident in, that you feel is one of your strengths. But I think dragging along working on at the same time something that you feel can use, some work on and everything, you kind of find that gray area of like I'm working on something that I feel confident, I feel sound and comfortable working on, and that area is secure. But when you draw in and pull along an area that can probably use some more work, you're kind of working, you're multitasking for sure, but you're also just you're attacking your strength, but you're using that energy and that momentum, that forward momentum, to draw along and pull the other areas. So I think that just shows another level of commitment, and which helps you stick to your goal. And during this, of course, is going to be good and bad times. And I feel like people who are truly committed, those are going to be the ones who don't take the discouragement and the downtime and the failures, or the mishaps so seriously. Not to say that they don't take it seriously as a fact that they don't understand what's going on, that they failed, but they have the confidence within themselves to understand, like, this is a part of the process for sure. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be these down moments, but you have to have that confidence within yourself to understand, like, this is a part of the process. This is a part of the program. And for those who may be on board with you, who may also be within this journey and this have a same like-minded goal, I think you or us as individuals, we display that, like, we're willing to take this loss. And every loss is not considered a loss, it's also considered a lesson. Yep. And once we display that through the hard times and the good times, we are showing that we have this withhold within ourselves to endure this process and take this journey for a bigger cause, which is for the success, which is for the reward. So we have to be just as receiving and receptive for any down moment, any mishap or whatever, just as we are for the success and for the reward. So we have to be, just as open-minded, take the good with the bad.
Yeah, I like that. Every loss is not a loss, but a lesson as well.
Facts.
That's big. Yeah,
That's very true in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And just even when you look at sports, we have those players that are willing to take that shot, or the quarterback is willing to take that throw. And in those moments, it's really not necessarily just about them, but it's about them stepping up to what that moment needs. Mm-hmm. And even when you really think about it a little bit deeper, we as the spectator, we don't really know if that necessarily was a play that was drawn up. Maybe it's just that individual just stepping up, like, right now, the team, this is what they need. Or that quarterback says, you know what, I just need to take a shot at this receiver. Like, yeah, he's wide open. Maybe he hasn't caught anything all season, but he's wide open. I have the opportunity to put him in a position to win.
Yeah.
And when you really just think about life altogether, I think about this every now and then. Like, when we come into this world, we really don't know what we're coming into. Like, we might have the opportunity to come into a life of privilege, or we might have to come into a life where we see nothing but images of us being mistreated and what have you. And we have no control of that.
Yeah.
But what we do have control of is our commitment to make not only us, but those around us better. And I feel like that's something just that kind of gives us the power, like our Malcolm X's, our Martin Luther Kings, our Medgar Evers, and everyone. Like, what they were doing for themselves in life was to help others. Mm-hmm. And throughout those moments, I feel like you just have the ability to feel stronger because you're making those around you feel stronger.
Exactly.
And just as being the two of you, like all three of us being brothers, like I didn't know who my brother was going to be. I didn't know who I was going to be until I started just kind of going throughout life, understanding, observing, seeing how others move, and just looking at examples that are like, that looks kind of weird. Like that, I see what you just did, but the way that they feel, that doesn't really look right.
Yep.
And just being mindful and understanding of that, and just really just being able to dig into my commitment of knowing how what that person just did to that person and the way that they look like they feel, that doesn't really resonate with me. And just understanding that just as people, we're more powerful together, united. And as
Facts.
much as they try to keep us all separated, that's by method. Like there's a reason why they have us doing that, because separated and diverse and across spread, like you're interested in doing that, I'm interested in doing this, like we're all scattered brain. And by no alignment, we're just kind of distracted and we're not able to really achieve being together. And I think that's just where the family bond comes back into play. If we could all just have like-minded goals, we can go so much, we can go so much further together. And just understanding that's the fabric of commitment and success. And just knowing that if you can stay true to self and lead others, you can also lead from the front, but you can also lead from the back. And just being mindful, you don't always have to be in front. And when I said this a while ago, just looking at a pyramid, we always look at the pyramid, or at least what they show us on the images, that you have the bottom is the foundation and the top. But maybe it's really in the reverse. Maybe it's that first person's at the top and he's inspired this person, he's inspired this person, and that person inspiring the other one. And it's just kind of trickling and spreading out. And it's just that spread of love, in my opinion. It's a spread of love and just all of us being connected.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there 100%. I think like what you mentioned around the community and family, really, not knowing how people are when we're born, not necessarily having an identity, but really it's just going back to you are the company you keep. So look at someone's brother or sister, parents, and you have a good idea of how they'll likely turn out, at least a baseline. And then now that individual has the ability to take it as far as they commit to. But a quote that I live by and I love is we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. I think a lot of folks, make these commitments, but don't understand that it's something that you have to continuously do. It's this repetition. It's like the 10,000 hours that you have to put into it in order to become excellence level. So I guess my question for you guys, what are some commitments that you are proud of today? I mean, of course, we're coming together to do these podcasts every week. And I like to say we're coming podcasters, something along those lines. But I mean, in essence, I'm really proud of this commitment we're making with this. I'm also like proud of the father that I can be with Cassidy, my daughter, and just watching her grow over the years. I'm proud of the commitment that I've taken because, not everyone wants to be a parent. Not everyone, can be a parent. It's really an honor and privilege to me. I'm also, very proud of the commitment that I'm making with my girl. I'm ready to make her my wife. So that's a title that she deserves at this point, because she's been in my life and been able to just bring me so much love and compassion and show me that, together as a team, as a unit, there's so many possibilities that we can achieve. And she just holds me accountable when I share my goals with her. She follows up, and, it's great to have friends and family that do that. But when you have someone who you're willing to make that commitment to spend the rest of your life with, that like it hits different on that level. So there's a couple of, what other commitments am I proud of? I've been trying to wake up early. I already talked about that, 4 to 5 a.m. and exercise. And I've been trying to get more endurance exercises in my routines, like running. I'm running like 5 to 10 miles. I've been trying to shoot for like 20 miles a week. Doing some swimming. I got whooped in the swimming pool last week, y'all. Man, I tried to jump in that pool at City Sports. Man, swimming's another level, man. You never realize, like your nose, if you don't have your nose plugged up and your ears plugged up, water starts getting in those areas, and that's a whole another level of challenge. But I'm trying to commit to that too. I want to get better at swimming, just so I can, be more confident when we hit the lakes, hit the beach in the summertime. So those are just a few commitments that I'm proud of. Reading too, of course. I'm trying to stay articulate, intellectual, all the good stuff that comes with that. But let me throw it over to y'all. That's a I hope that wasn't too lengthy of a list, but I just wanted to toss out a few. But I'm curious what you guys are what's some proud commitments that you guys have here in 2022.
I think for me, for sure, it's definitely been committed to focusing on my health, being very mindful of what enters my body, being mindful of that. Definitely big on fitness, health, weight training, all aspects of just you know taking your body serious, loving your body, critiquing areas that you feel you can work on, and in that regard. Another one is definitely this podcast, becoming more comfortable, more sound, more involved, alert, uh, having these conversations, being definitely vested in. That's definitely another commitment, I'd say. Another commitment is, I would say, just as far as in the professional realm, not becoming complacent, being mindful, like, what are you doing actively to, you know, continue to raise the bar in all aspects of life, basically, like, how are you progressing? Don't become complacent. Don't get too comfortable just because, you are in a decent place. Continue to push that envelope, continue to raise that bar, just stay productive on all aspects. I think that's another one. I look at all ways to career develop and progress. And another
Yeah,
one
I
is just,
definitely vouch for the career development. I've been seeing you putting that work, and you're in a field where it's like so in demand right now within like IT help, just because people are remote, people are all over the place right now. So I know that it's been more demanding of you, but like just seeing you take it head on and reap the financial benefits and rewards of that too. That's been really cool to see. Watch over the time.
I say, man, just sitting back and with these, it's amazing to me that it's been 2 years, but just to watch how fast things have shifted and changed, let me know, like, you have to be adaptable, you have to be ready, you have to be just on point, and it just let me know, like, you cannot be too comfortable and complacent, because look how fast something can move, and you think you were ahead of the curve, and look how fast that curve came around and caught up with you. So that just let me know, like, I'm just all about whatever the a course that may be suggested, that might pop up. It may just seem as a pop up, but I take heed to it. I'm like, what is this? What are they suggesting for me? Like, these algorithms are crazy, man. Like, if they suggesting it, they more than likely know this is the direction. Yeah, this is the direction the world is going in. So let me see if this aligns with what I'm interested in, if this is aligned with my passion and my dreams, all the above. So I just been more aware of these signals, you know what I'm saying? Like, these alerts and all that. Like, I'm not just gonna take them for granted. And another one is definitely, I'm committed to protecting my peace. And I know that's a general statement, but man, listen, at this day and age, and at this day and time, protecting that peace and being mindful of your mental awareness, being cognitive of it, is so crucial today, because so much garbage passes our brain, passes our traffic and everything. Being mindful of just what we are inputting into ourselves is just crucial, and we have a way of outputting that. So I try to be like mindful of what am I inputting and how am I outputting it, and how to not input certain things and how to not output them. So, even talking with mom, I know, I shared a workout video with her, and she's like, hey, that music. And, I'm so oblivious to, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't think I was too much listening to it, but but listen, but it takes that type of outside perspective for her to realign me. Like, or did you listen to that? I'm
Yeah,
like,
don't go numb.
Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just being alert, being aware and mindful of those things, man. Just
Yeah,
that's my big commitment for
I
sure.
like that. I like those some solid ones for sure.
Thank you.
And then for me, I think my biggest commitment is just trying to remain selfless. And when I'm listening, interacting with people, try to listen to what they're actually saying. Because sometimes, just as I'm interacting with people, I'll see that they'll kind of beat around the bushes of what they're trying to say, but just kind of understand where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And even as a leader in my position, just trying to be mindful of, like, when there is new tasks that are coming approaching us, not necessarily getting frustrated, just try to approach it in a way to kind of inspire them. I know, just in some of the different opportunities I've had on projects, it's kind of like we forecast how difficult it'll be, and understanding like there's nothing wrong with something being difficult. It's only difficult because we've never did it before. And just kind of bringing it down to a more simplistic term instead of making it some elaborate journey that we have to embark on. I was like, I've been like, unfortunately, I've had the opportunity to do a lot of yard work and just working on different type of discussing jobs. Like, so whatever this project is, like, I've seen the worst.
Mm-hmm.
So it really can't be as bad as we think it is. So, but we're all here together. Just kind of redirect everyone into understanding that you're not doing this alone. You can work on this little bit. I can work on this little bit. You over there, you can work on this little bit. And then after a while, we can put all these little bit pieces together and we have the whole project. And just kind of getting them to understand that you're not in this by yourself. And I think that's something that people and just people in the communities we have the chance to interact with, they just think that they're in this battle of life by themselves. But if we could all communicate and have an open relationship when we're communicating, there's something that I know that you might not know, just as well as something that you know that I might not know. But if we could share that information together, then we're able to grow our community and then we're able to reach out to others and just spread the knowledge. So that's something that I'm really committed to and just continuing to do throughout work, and just bringing the joy and the spirit, the right mindset to work is something I'm really committed to. Is just trying to get there early, get everyone with some fruit. They have a bad habit when I'm speaking of work. They like to eat cake for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, nah, we need to redirect that and have some type of fruit in here. So just trying to get everyone with that healthy mindset, get everyone going, and just start getting that good push and nudge going into the day. Because we know it's going to be a busy day. So if we're mindful of that and know how structured we can be and everything laid out, we can make the day go that much easier instead of constantly reacting to this, reacting to that. And then that way, at the end of the day, you're feeling overwhelmed. But if you're aware and have the energy to go throughout the day and make it productive, it's an easier day. So just trying to be selfless, understanding where other people are at, just trying to be there for them to lean on. And then all together, we could just get to where we're trying to go to achieve that goal.
I like that.
I like that. So
Yeah, I was just gonna also throw in. I've been trying to commit to doing more data visualization. Just a way of bringing the information to the people in a graphical way is really important, because there's so many numbers out there that will give you insights to what's really going on. But a lot of people aren't always audio learners. So if I explain the numbers to them, it might just not be connecting the same way if I were to show them a visual. And even going back into the history, I recently learned that W.E.B. Du Bois was the first, one of the first individuals to create data visualization. There's a really cool article that Tableau, which is a data visualization software, it's owned by Microsoft, and they basically wrote about how W.E.B. Du Bois used data visualization to confront prejudice in the early 20th century. So right after slaves were freed in the late 19th century, he wanted to start highlighting how still there were some people who technically were slaves just by the fact that they weren't being paid a fair wage for their work and their efforts. And he also touched on just, what the type of work that they were actually doing. So this is like a visualization of the occupations of blacks and whites in Georgia. I think this was in 1900 something. Let me see exactly the dates. This came out in. No, he did this for this Paris. Oh, in 1900. So right on the new millennium. Is that do you call every like new century a new millennium, or is millennium like 2000 only? I don't know. Not important. But basically, he touched on how Black people, one of the two main occupations for them were agricultural and mining, fishery work, as well as domestic and personal service. And then in comparison to whites, they also did a lot of agricultural work, but it's probably just like sharecropping or overseeing the cotton pickers and tobacco farmers that were Black people who were former slaves. And as you see here, there were definitely a much smaller margin of whites who were doing domestic and personal services work. So when you compare both the occupations and the wages that African Americans were paid in these times, he was really just trying to highlight the fact that you might call this freedom. Sure, they can go home or whatever that looks like at the end of the day, but they still are restricted to these specific fields of work, and they're being paid much less. I mean, we're talking like it's still a problem today. So imagine what that looked like over 100 years ago. So I just wanted to highlight this as like one of the first data visualizations that allowed the world to see the mistreatment that was taking place of Black and brown people in this country. And yeah, I mean, we've done some data visualization ourselves for the Brothers Reaching Back nonprofit organization that we have. I can share some of the. Let me pull it up real quick. But some of the work that we did.
Before you like that, you mind if I just throw something in there before you switch over?
Go ahead, please.
Do you see, just looking at the graph, do you see how like exact opposite they are? Like the yellow in comparison to the yellow up top and the blue. It's almost like the foundation of this of America was built on free slavery.
Yeah.
Then once they were able to, once it was outlawed to have slaves, it's like now we have to pay these people to do it. And it was like now, slavery originally started with also Caucasians being slaves as first, but then they were able to kind of come in underneath the radar because they looked alike. So then that's when the skin complexion became the easiest way to identify us as being slaves. But I'm not even gonna go down that route. But it was basically like this was I guess you said the Caucasian slaves pool, and then this was our pool. But of course they're gonna give it to those that look more like them than to us. But it's like a completely it's just flipped over. It's their portion versus our portion. And a lot of the land they just came over and claimed. So it was those that claimed the land, and then those that had to work on the land, all to be able to build their businesses.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I think it's just important because, like you said, at some point in time, everyone was a slave one way or the other. But the true industrialization of slavery took place on the backs of Black people, and this country is still reaping the benefits of that generationally. So it's important for us to give credit when credit is due, and also understand that the centuries of slavery that took place has an effect. It doesn't fix itself in a matter of, 1 century when that took place for so long. I mean, you look at this chart here, this shows like this was something that took place from 17, before this 18th century, all the way up until the 20th century, really. I mean, you look into, once we got into the 20th century, it didn't just drop off. It still had a gradual decline because there was slavery taking place behind closed doors. There was no way for, the police to go door to door, making sure that all the slave owners just let their slaves go. This was something that, what came to realization over time. And it's just, a lot of people expect the wounds to heal overnight when, you know, you look at the grand scheme of time. But it's important for us to continue to come together as a community and, you know, understand where we are. So that's why I wanted to highlight the data, and the data analysis. Always get tripped up on that. It's almost a tongue twister, but the data analysis that we put together as the brothers reaching back, kind of looking into Black communities here in the Bay Area alone, and just know where we are, you know, on the grand scheme of things. This is kind of a visualization that we put together, highlighting that, you know, Oakland has the highest population of African Americans in the Bay Area. Like the Emeryville area is right there as well. I mean, we all know there's a lot of Black people, but unfortunately, when you look at the average household income, you'd be surprised how low it is in Oakland. And that's another problem that's going to continue to hold us back. We need to have economic stimulation. It doesn't need to be just free handouts. We really just need some organization and opportunities that we can count on, that's going to remain there, not some you know, pop up that's going to be here today and gone tomorrow. And then yeah, Fairfield, Sassoon areas, Vallejo are some of the other Black neighborhoods that we have. Richmond, Antioch area, Blenheim and Benicia. Just knowing like, okay, these are where, specifically just looking at the Black neighborhoods, this is where our people are, African Americans. Let's connect. Let's get into these neighborhoods, you know, figure out what are some of the challenges, figure out what the youth need, because that is really the most important part of a community, because that's the future. And then let's start finding the solutions to these challenges. Important stuff. I think data visualization really helps just give it make it a bite-sized, you know, bite-sized information that you can share. And I'm excited for the work that's to come, especially now that things are starting to open up a little bit more. Pandemic seems like it's coming to an end. Fingers crossed, knock on wood.
Yep, knock on wood, big time.
But good things to come. I know we're always sitting down talking about, you know, what we're putting together, and we're going to continue to do that. These conversations we have here is a great forum for that to take place, and we'd love to just be engaged by, you know, our community, our peers. Let us know what you guys think. Like, even if you just hit me up on my phone, my phone line's always open. As long as I'm not, you know, dealing with the little one or working or recording with my brothers here, I want to hear what y'all have to think. And yeah, we're gonna stay to it. I'll throw it back to you guys. That's pretty much all I've got.
Yeah, I was hoping also if you could drop the link for that data visualization. It just twisted my tongue. That the data visualization for W.E. Du Bois, just so we can go click on and do some more research just to look into it. Yep. Because history does repeat itself. No matter how much we want to deny it, unfortunately, in some way it does repeat itself. But as long as we're staying aware and present, we're the ones that could change history. I mean, a lot of stuff that exists in this world, it existed back in the days. Just someone didn't have the mind or the creativity to create it back then. But the resources have always been here. It's just that we're not using them in the right manner. Mm-hmm. So we have to continue to challenge each other, inspire each other, and take this world to new levels, because the resources are here. It's just we haven't put them all together yet. It's just continue to stay engaged, world.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll shoot you that link for sure. It's pretty deep on W.E.B. Du Bois. If you look into his background, he did a lot of groundwork, and I think it fills in the blanks of what took place way back when. And now we have to kind of take, like you said, the baton and hand it off to the next generation, knowing, okay, this is what's been going on. The new industries that are taking place are going to help create economic stimulation in our communities. I think I'm a big advocate for cryptocurrency and the NFT space, and how, because we are very artistic people. I think that we have so many ways of expressing ourselves artistically. And this new wave with NFT, non-fungible tokens, that allow you to have digital rights to your artwork, whether it be music or, you know, true digital art, you name it. there's going to be so much opportunity coming because now like there's no way that you can copy somebody. I mean, yeah, they can, but that's just more marketing for a true value that you provide. So I don't want to get too deep in that. That's another conversation we can have in the future. But I really want to map that out or be a part of the mapping.
Yeah, I'm with you. As the more I start to listen and engage with it, it just sounds intriguing. Just listening from it from an artist perspective is how, like, if you buy an artist's record and then they sell it to someone and then that person sells their copy to someone else, the artist still is able to get residual income based off you selling it. Even I've already bought it from the artist. If I sell it to the artist, I receive a small percentage, but that artist also receives a small percentage because it's actually their NFT. It's just like, wow, that's pretty intriguing. So it's like, just imagine if I could create my own product within the NFT and to be able to share it with others and be able to get them to inspire others to share it with them. It could be remarkable.
Yep.
I'm definitely interested in learning more about it.
Facts.
There we go.
Yeah. So you got anything else you wanted to share, Bryce? You want to close this out, man? I appreciate you, kicking this introduction off and, bringing this topic. When you threw this out to the group chat, I was like, yes, commitment. I'm with that. Of course, because of the Raiders slogan, but, for just all sorts of reasons that we stated here today.
Yeah, man, I was just closing saying, man, just be in tune with what's on your mind, what your vision is, and make that commitment. Don't be afraid of it. Don't shy from it. Understand it, internalize it, lock on to it, and understand there's going to be hurdles. Understand there's going to be detours. You're going to face adversity, but don't allow it to detour you from what the goal is. Just stick with the journey, stick with the path. Lock in. That's the biggest thing I would reiterate to all walks of life, all ages of life. Lock in, man. Whatever it is, that lock-in process is the most crucial process. I continue to refer to a gym, a workout, a health aspect analogy, but once you start to see those benefits and those rewards pop up and the success stories show up for yourself after you see the work and the investment that you put in, it just becomes fulfilling. There's no better reward than to know what you've done, the work you've done, the work you've invested, the commitment that you've made. I can't speak to anything more rewarding than knowing that you did that you put in this effort, that this work. And you'll be surprised what the minimal effort will return. You know what I'm saying? The returns that will give you. So just lock in, man. Whatever is on your mind or whatever your passion is. And it's just so, what amazes me is all the past topics that we've covered for the most part all speak to the definition of commitment.
Yep. 100%.
Truth there.
Yeah. Lock in, tap in, let us know what y'all think. And if y'all need some advice or want to hear what we think about, an idea that you have or a commitment you want to make, drop it in the comments, send us a direct message, hit us up on our social media platforms. We're always down to brainstorm and really map out, what a path forward looks like, at least share what our perspectives are. Yeah, this is another great conversation. I appreciate you guys. Those of you, if you want to continue to get notified when we drop new videos, subscribe as well. There's a little bell notification that you can have. So as soon as we drop something new, you'll be notified. We're going to keep having these conversations, man. This is a commitment we have made. And you can bet that we're going to be here next week. So I look forward to it.
There you go. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all as well. I love y'all. Always. Y'all have a good day. I might catch up with y'all later, but
for sure.
In the meantime, I'll see you soon.
All right, appreciate y'all. Looking forward to the next topic, man.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right.